Hello everybody, this is Gary Vaynerchuk, and because of some circumstances that I cannot divulge at this point, so you'll have to guess in the comments field, that's how we do on the Thunder Show. We are not going to do the drawing today, I'm going to move that to Monday. This was an episode I taped that I was going to run on Monday, now I'll be running it for you today on Friday. Have the best holiday. Oh, and one thing, the secret packs, link it up. The secret packs are almost gone. Thank you for the hundreds and hundreds of people that have already been involved. I'll see you on Christmas. Everybody else, have a wonderful weekend and a healthy one. See you later. Now watch this show. Hello everybody and welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk. And this, my friends, is the Thunder Show, aka the only wine show on the internets where the host loses a bet on a football game and gets a stunning guest star. So, here is the explanation. David Kramer, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Why don't you explain to your fellow Vaniacs why you're here?
I will be glad to do so. My pleasure. It all started when Wine Library TV went on the air 10 million years ago. I was literally watching on day one when it happened. And nonetheless, I always wanted to be on the show. And I figured that everybody always wants to be on the show. And I have to come up with something kind of creative to kind of weasel my way on the show. And I looked at the football schedule. I saw 2 years ago the Jets were playing the Ravens. And that's when the plan hatched. I was going to bet Gary that my Ravens were going to beat his Jets because, frankly, no one's really lost to the Jets in Super Bowl III. Anyway.
I got jokes. The Maniacs have jokes.
Well, you know, I honestly think you'll win 10 games next season.
I do too.
If they adopt an NBA 82-game schedule.
Watch it. Your team is not very exciting, so don't get very high horse on me.
I understand.
Continue.
We almost beat the Patriots. You don't have a chance.
Did.
But almost doesn't count.
No.
Football, anyway. So, nonetheless, when the Ravens played the Jets, I said, I'm going to bet Gary. I know he can't say no. He has to have confidence in his team. And I admire a man who has confidence in their team, even if they are just the New York Jets.
Let me jump in here, DK, and explain to all the Vaniacs what's going on here. Since WLTV started, people have been betting me to get on to WLTV if the Jets lose to their team, and I've always held off, knowing that it would be a floodgate of people wanting to do that, and it would be absolutely crazy. And so when David was pounding me, I think I said no the first time or even the second time, but he was persistent, and I enjoy that. I understand that, and I respect that. At the same token, I started realizing that there was something new and fun that I started wanting to do with Wine Library TV. So I'm going to take this moment to announce something that I've been planning to do, which you don't even know about. I'm going to start a consistent game plan of having guest stars on WLTV. Now, we had the widget contest where we flew somebody in and up in a posh hotel in New York. That's not going to be the game. This is going to have to be on you. But in the next couple of days, I'm going to be coming up with a concept for every other Friday on the laid-back couch to have a guest star Vaniac come along and be part of the Thunder Show. But you get to break the ice.
I'm sleeping in a van down by the river. Oh, sorry. But I'm happy to be here.
You live in Maryland.
I do, in Baltimore.
Very nice. So, Eric Bedard, is he going to get traded? I'm very worried. He's on my fantasy team. I need him to stay in the AL.
We're allowed to have one good player.
You should keep him. So, what we did was, David went downstairs and walked around with Ian and selected 3 wines. These are completely his choices. We're also doing slightly a pop and pour. Normally, we'd let these wines, especially since on the serious level of these wines, I see that we didn't chintz around. We would obviously let them decant, but a lot of people have been asking me for pop and pour episodes, and I think with the quality of these wines, this should be an interesting episode because these are very high quality wines, ones that you would not normally pop and pour, but that's what we're doing. These wines have been breathing for only about 15-20 minutes because of the scheduling and how we did this, so why not? That's how we roll. We're comfortable. So let's get into the first wine. And the first wine is a really cool new project from Portugal. And why don't you tell the Vaniacs while I scroll this up to them why you chose this wine?
I chose this wine. I absolutely love Portuguese Douros. I think that it's a very up-and-coming area of the world wine-wise because it's for years been thought of as primarily just ports. And they're just doing some unbelievable things, and I think that the QPR stuff is all there. You can get some unbelievable bottles of wine in the $15 to $20 price range. Of course, this one's a few dollars more, but it's easier to spend other people's
money. This wine is 44 U.S. American bones, 92 points from the Wine Spectator, and it comes from the families of Quinto de Crasto, which is a great producer in Portugal, and our good friend Jean-Michel Caz from Chateau Lynchbage in Bordeaux. Now, this wine is 60% Touriga Nacional, 25% Tinto Roriz, and 15% Touriga Franca, which are the predominant grapes you're going to see in Douro. And I'm sure you've noticed for about 2 years now, I've been stomping and pounding and talking about Portugal. Indeed. I hope I had a little influence on your excitement about it. So I think this is an area that has tremendous potential. Let's start whirling and You know what we're gonna do now, right?
Sniffy sniff time.
Very good.
Sweet.
A true Vaniac on the Thunder Show. It's always nice. But these wines have a lot going on. What do you get, DK?
I got you got definite blackberries and some jammy flavors.
Yeah, there's an enormous amount of almost like I talk about hot reduction of jam when Grandma from the old country likes to put jam in a pot and you're like, Grandma, what are you doing? Don't bother me. They're scary from that country. Grandma scares the piss out of me. But they make desserts out of really heated jams, and I don't even know why they do. I don't even know what they make. But she puts it like a pierogi type thing. It was wild stuff. My dad would eat like 500. I'd like throw up on myself. Where's McDonald's? But here's what's going on. This wine smells like reduction of jam. I agree, blackberries. I also get a really heavy sense of fresh, young, small Wegman-style strawberries coming through. Not the big ones you get at ShopRite. The small ones you get at Wegmans, and they charge like 8 times because you think it's better. Anyway.
Some strawberries are in there.
Yeah, that's what's definitely in there. There's a licorice kind of component coming through as well on the nose. It's very viscous on the nose. There's a big attack. There's a lot of aromatics in here, which make me very happy. Let's give it a whirl.
Trying to quit.
And you know how much it makes the Maniacs excited when I spit and everybody else drinks. I know I wear a dress. Okay, so really nice mouthfeel, very silky.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
I think it has great mouthfeel. It's got a really good job coating your mid palate. And definitely can tell it's a little bit young.
Mm-hmm. It is young, but I'm going to tell you something. 2003. It is actually extremely pleasant on your mouthfeel. When I talk about wines that are silky smooth, this is the kind of wine that I refer to. It's almost weightless on your palate, even though you know it's a heavy wine, if that makes any sense. It's very viscous and explodes, but, there's like a cool...
There's an airiness to it.
There's an airiness to it. I like that. We'll steal that. Anyway, very well made, very well structured, nice long finish. I assume you're still tasting it on your palate.
Absolutely. It's well put together, integrated.
Correct, which is extremely exciting. We're talking about a 1-minute finish. I think Spectator did a good job scoring this wine. What would you score this wine?
Absolutely, I would say 91, 92.
Yeah, I think they're in the range. I agree 100%. I think it's a very clean wine. I'm enjoying the chocolate-covered cherry component that the aftertaste is bringing to the table. It's got the backbone structure to last for 3 to 5 years in this kind of state. I think this wine will last for 10 years or so and really drink well the whole time. I love coast-to-coast wines. Wines that drink well now and all along the, everyone's like, when should I drink it? Well, this has no fear. I think that's pretty much at any point. And I'm really excited to see what this wine involves. I actually may, put these on the show tomorrow and kind of see like one day later because there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. I'm going to score this wine 92 points. I think it's a really well-made, extremely great example of where Portugal has potential. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to cut to the chase. If Lynchbaj wasn't involved and the marketing people and all the dollars involved in putting this project together, I feel that Portugal can make wine like this for $25, not $45. So there are some reasons why this wine is in that price point, and that's mainly to do with smart business people and a lot of marketing. And yeah, absolutely. And so I'm just very excited about Bordeaux in general. You've heard me call it the next Napa, so I think there's big potential there, and I'm impressed. Good choice.
Good stuff.
Let's move on. Next, we're going to go with a Brunello. And tell us why you chose to put a Brunello in front of all your fellow Maniacs.
I love Sangiovese. I just think it's got just such interesting tastes and flavors, and I like the fact that you can definitely drink it now. You can save it for a long time to come. And I'm just a big fan of Italian wines in general.
You drink a lot of Brunello?
I try, but they're a little on the pricey side, so you got to kind of temper how much you drink.
You definitely have to. Now, this is the Pian Cornello Brunello Reserva 2001 vintage. This wine rolls in at $48 US, which is James Hasty's number. Do you remember him? He was a tremendous safety that probably dominated your Colts when you were you a Colts fan?
Actually, not really. The Colts left when I was 10. So and plus their record from about my birth until they left in '83 was just
they had 6 total wins.
Yeah, they basically
5 against the Jets.
Probably.
No, seriously, there was 3 years there where they won 1 or 2 games, and every time it was against the Jets would be 9-3 heading into the playoffs. The Colts would come in 0-12 and beat us 6-3 in a snowstorm. We would collapse, not make the playoffs. You'd have your only win, and then draft Tony Manrich or whoever the heck you guys draft. Actually, he came on to you later. That was Green Bay. You would Trev Alberts.
Don't mention number 7. We're very bitter in Baltimore about number 7.
Oh, Elway, huh? That's brutal stuff. Anyway, this is the wine show.
I'm sorry.
My fault. 48 Bones, Brunello's. Everybody loves. When did you first start getting into Brunello's? When did you have your first experience? How long have you been into wine?
I've been into wine, I don't know, 10, 12 years, but I'd say I had my first Brunello probably 7, 8 years ago, and you just fall in love with it. It's just such a seductive, beautiful wine, and the Italian winemaking style that I really like, particularly the New World.
There's just so much love and history, and there's so much romance in America with Tuscany and with Italy. It's really the loved country at some level.
I love you, man.
You do?
Yeah.
Thanks, man. It's got a lot. It's got a really, really big following, and people always go there, and people are always coming back saying, "Oh, I had the best wine. It was out of a jug." And I love that whole theory of, hey, you're with your family, you're having a good time. The wines are gonna taste better. No, Gary, I'm telling you, the guy with the jug, he brought it out. It's better than any $100 wine I've ever had. That whole thing. You're being tricked. It's your mind being happy. So let's give this a sniffy sniff. What are you getting on this?
Smells like the last wine. No, just kidding. There really isn't a huge nose here.
Very good. That is true.
Actually, you can kind of smell some heat there.
Yeah, this comes across. It's almost got almost a mint component, which is very unusual for Brunello. But there's an underlining mint almost under a. You know what I like to call it? Cheap, like quick Nestle's mix, the powder.
Oh, man.
You get the powder here. It's almost like the powder's mixed in with some dirt. It's like you tricked your friend. You're like, hey, you want some quick stuff? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, I'll just go get it. And you get some, but then you go outside and like put some sand in the dirt. It kind of looks like it. And he's like, oh, thanks. And then, as a matter of fact, I'm going to tell a very good story about that kind of move. My friend Garrett Van Fleet in high school, I went over his house to the Riddick Bowe Holyfield fight, and I was a little hyper, and a little too much for that. I mean, really shocking. And I was really kind of out of control at some level. And my friends went upstairs and they're like, you want some ice cream? I'm like, yeah. And so they came down and they gave me ice cream. And there was like little chips in it. And it was like raspberry and something. And I thought it was raspberry seeds. They actually crunched up sleeping pills into my ice cream. And like right after the fight, I was like I was here. And then like after the fight, I was like, man, guys, I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired. I'm bushed. And I fell asleep, and then only to wake up as they were, like, taping me to the couch. It was a tremendous story. I basically told that so I can find him and send him this clip. It was a classic, and that's kind of how I think of this wine. It actually smells like, the Nestle's Quick powder, but somebody threw, like, a little bit of dirt in there as well.
And it's going to knock you out.
You think so?
I don't know.
Let's give it a whirl. What are you thinking?
Well, there's definitely a lot more flavor than there is nose on this wine.
No question.
Definitely has, I actually taste chocolate. I don't know if you tasted chocolate, but there's some chocolate, there's some strawberries, some cherries.
The chocolate was what exactly I picked up on the nose. That was that, artificial, I wouldn't call it like Belgian black chocolate. I would call it like, classic, run-of-the-mill, like you go to Target and you buy the big candy bar.
It's like
you
just want the chocolate fix.
You get for $10,
There you go.
That kind of chocolate quality. I find the wine a little bit unfocused in the mid-palate. It's kind of dancing in different directions, and it finishes kind of tart, which is fine. It's got a nice long finish. It's very dry. I wouldn't say it's pucker your mouth dry, but it's definitely a much drier wine than, let's say, the last one. Mm-hmm. The fruit is very classic. It's classic Brunello style.
It's not changing my life.
Mm-mm. It's got a little hint of tobacco towards the tail end, which I like, actually. A little shredded tobacco. But yeah, this is a kind of basic to me as well. To me, this is an 88, 87 point Brunello.
That's exactly where I was going to put it if you asked me first.
There you go. 2 peas in a pod. I'm gonna go 87 points on it. I just think this is a pass. I think there's a lot of ways you can spend your money in a better direction. So 91 points, Antonio Galani, who's a great critic, who's doing a good job for Parker with Italian wines. Really built up the Advocate's Italian reviewing. On this one, I think both of us are going to have to disagree. He's probably like a Colts fan or something, right?
I guess.
I know Dom is getting all upset.
Hey, you can't forget one thing, Gary.
What's that?
19 will always be greater than 18.
You think so?
Absolutely. Was your family always Colt fans? Absolutely. Season ticket holders.
So let's talk about Super Bowl III, for example.
Let's talk about
January 12th, 1969, the day that saved the National Football League, because the Jets don't win that game. There's probably no merger.
That's right.
Interest probably drops, and we're probably all very focused on lacrosse in this country. That is my theory.
Or highlight.
That's right. So let's talk about that. Were you brought growing up like to hate that game more than anything?
Yeah, basically. But we have Super Bowl V, and
yeah, that was such a cheesy Super Bowl, 10-7, boring.
We got the greatest game ever, 1957, over the Giants.
That really is football.
That's
first televised.
That's right.
That's good stuff. We're pouring out expensive wine like crazy here. All right, we're getting into a very interesting wine, and let's tell the Vaniacs, besides the fact that you wanted to pop open a $100 bottle of wine, why you chose the 2004 Clos Glace Pomerol. Tremendous producer. 80% Merlot, 20% Cab Franc, 91 points from both Spectator and Parker, 93 US dollars. Well, you like that number. Oh, no, you're not a Colts fan. 93 is for me. You don't like that number. No. Anyway, 93 bones, not inexpensive, and a very expensive producer here. And remember, this is the last of the Mohican vintage, 2004. We're looking at efforts from this guy rolling in at about 200 bones, 05, 06, 07, even though 06 and 07 look kind of sad. So what was the thought process behind 2004?
I will share. I have kids that were born in 2002. My son Jacob. My daughter was born in 2004, Haley, and my son Jacob was Dylan was born in 2006. I buy Bordeaux every year that the kids are born to save and put them away. They'll probably be corked by the time that they're old enough to drink them. But I did what I was supposed to do, and I'll give them a bunch of useless bottles.
Let's talk about 04. I think is a great thing, but 2002 is a very soft vintage in Bordeaux, and I've got to be honest with you, I'd be very worried that that's going to last 21 years if that's the game plan. So what I really recommend here, just really quick on a side note, is that you look very seriously at California. Some of the better producers in 02 will definitely last that long. And 2006 in Bordeaux is actually a pretty good year. Yep. It's just that it pales. Why couldn't you guys be on the odd? 01, 03, and 05 are amazing in Bordeaux. You couldn't have talked to the little lady?
Yeah, not my fault. They just, look, these kids show up every 2 years. I don't know how it happens, but I just hope it stops.
Well, it did stop this year, right? No, 07.
God bless, no more. 3 is perfect.
3 and out?
3 and out, just like the Jets.
Watch it. All right, so let's get into this wine. It's got great color. I don't know if you've noticed this. I mean, just beautifully
It's
rich.
got red and purple. It's
everything you want. And you can see your fingers just a little bit. Perfect. Let's give it a sniffy sniff.
Who dumped the ivory soap in there?
It's true. It's got a very soapy kind of component. Almost, and first thing that pops in my mind, and you might have heard me say this on the show a couple times, is like the cloud kind of thing. Because I think I associate soap to ivory and almost like toilet paper, like toiletries. It's like, it's nice and you feel good after you're done. Like, what's that thing Lizzie makes me always...
Purell.
That's right. I think of that when I smell wine like this. There's some really nice green flavors underneath, but extremely subtle. I get little hints of asparagus. This is very subtle. There's also almost like a beautiful cherry juice component on the serious back end. This smells really good. I mean, what I like about this a lot is that this is a very complicated nose. I feel like there's some back end cinnamon here, and this is the kind of wine that if you let decant for an hour or two, is dramatically going to give you a lot more aromatically. Plus, you get into the 5, 7, 10-year window. I think I'm seeing under here, kind of like right there, a sneakiness of funk that's going to come out. I think we will see and experience and enjoy a little bit of gym sock, maybe sweaty Ravens sweatshirt, after a long run around Wine Library, a couple laps maybe you'll do after this. So I'm getting that as well on the nose. Let's give it a whirl.
Wow, that's silky. It's got great mouthfeel. Really does coat your palate nicely, and has a wonderful aftertaste.
Geez, this is really good. I actually think
that's good stuff.
I actually think that Spectator and Parker missed this wine pretty badly. Let me just get into it a little bit more because now I'm thinking.
The birds are thinking too.
You hear them, right? Because before, all I was thinking about was how to razz you, how to make fun of Kyle Bowler, and Billick. I hate Billick.
He's gone.
He's gone, huh?
Soon.
Awesome. Massively explosive wine. If you're getting serious about wine, we did the wine cellar episode not too long ago, and you want to put something away and not break the bank, I'm going to tell you something right now. This is extremely good. The polish, the elegance in the mouthfeel. I'm almost embarrassed calling the first wine silky smooth after tasting this.
This is unbelievably...
I mean, this is just like purity. You like that?
It's got integrated tannins like
purity. I mean, this has absolute purity on the mouthfeel. Very clean, beautiful black licorice components. I'm getting a gorgeous black, firm plum flavor on the mid palate, which I'm enjoying quite a bit. Very dry, very complex. What I love about this wine, and this is probably what's making you... What happened to your thumb?
long story.
Okay. It's a long show. You know, it's what I love about this wine. I don't know if you. I want you to get back into this real quick. Jump into it. What I think you're going to notice is that the tannins are very big, right? Mm-hmm. But sweet as heck. And that's when you know you're dealing with a wine that is going to please the crowd, because this wine is loaded with tannin structure.
I mean, just look how it's still running down the side of the glass. It's very thick. It's very juicy. Very chewy.
This is good.
This is good.
I'm going to score this wine. What are you going to score this wine?
I'd give this wine like 94 points.
See that? That was good. I don't know if you saw it. You're probably very sharp and probably did see it.
I didn't.
I agree. I think this is a 94-point wine. Maryland's not that long of a drive, is it?
No.
You can come and substitute for me when I'm traveling.
Hey, I'd love to be
We can have like a tournament of stars.
I'll be Kelvin Clemens and you can be Chad Pennington.
No, I'm Clemens. You're Chad. We're about to trade you back to the Ravens. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to score this wine 94 points. We both agree. I'm going to seriously stress on people that roll heavy like DK. If he can afford to come up here, this guy's a baller. Not like me. Jay-Z, maybe Pennington, because he makes a lot of money. We got to trade him under the cap. Anyway, to go out and seek this wine out. It's going to be expensive. But from a wine that... This is what I love about the wine industry. Most people that ball in this level will not buy this wine because it's 93 bones and they see 91 points spectator, 91 Parker, and they're like, I'm not going to buy that. That is not value driven towards me. I'm going to buy 95-point wines. I'm going to buy 97-point wines.
Buy on score. That's the only really factor you should look
at.
And
listen, I exactly. That's all we preach here on the Thunder Show.
That's right.
I understand buying on score, especially at this price point where it doesn't become a guide, it almost becomes an insurance.
Right.
And let me promise you something. I've been very fortunate, knock on wood. I probably have had 100 wines rated 93 to 100 in the last 6 months, and this wine, off the top of my head, gets right into my dirty dozen of... This is serious juice.
It is.
You want to pound it after we're done?
Absolutely. I mean, let me tell you something. You rated this wine 96, and it will be gone.
But I can't do that.
I know, but I'm saying it's just that unbelievably full, and it's good. It's good.
It is good. I mean, this is a wine that I really would hope that some of the Vaniacs can go out there and seek out, try for yourselves, put away. It comes in 6-packs, this producer, so maybe a 6-pack for the cellar if you can roll that deep. Treat yourself. It's the holiday season.
If this was an 05, $300 to $400, I bet.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of... Now, that's where it gets a little sneaky. This is why I'm so addicted to the 05s. As much as I love this wine, as much as I think people should, run out and get this, I'd have to be really honest with you. I think there's 2 or 3 05s I can think of off the top of my head that are rolling in at $50, $60 that I think are as good, if not better.
Okay.
And what I'm going to say about that is there's no way of you to find out unless you email me. But maybe I'm not going to let you do that because
You'll do nothing else but answer emails.
I'm going to get a lot of emails, aren't I?
Yeah, probably.
You emailed me.
I did email you. And you actually wrote back.
I write everybody
back. You do write back.
It's scary. You have anything else you'd like to share as we...
I'd like to share one thing. Yeah, I would. Frankly, look, this show is all about changing the wine world, and there is something that needs to be changed. And I'd like to start right here,
I'm getting a little nervous,
right now. You should. Here's one of my big beefs. You can't get Wine Library wine shipped to Maryland. And why? Because in Maryland, the liquor lobby has to tell us what to drink. Now, if the liquor lobby were to contact our governor, Martin Malloy, and say, listen, you can't sell Ravens t-shirts in Maryland, he'd go bonkers. But if somebody said, oh, you can't get a certain wine, just no one cares. Let me tell you something there, Governor O'Malley, whom I voted for and whom I like a lot. There's a big problem. Because right now...
You don't get political on the Thunder Show, but go ahead.
Well, he's the guy that's going to fix the problem. Because I think he cares. This guy...
Take a look at how much the wholesaler
this guy guided
his...
this guy guided in Baltimore to 2001, right to the Super Bowl. We beat the Giants.
Yeah,
this guy has come in. He's reformed crime. He's gotten rid of property, real estate laws that were over 300 years old with ground rents.
Are we gonna
this
have to put a disclaimer
is a man that cares. And this is a man that wants to be known for change. I do. And hear me tell you something.
Are you going to send him this email at this
show?
You
bet. Let me tell you something, Mike. Link it up. I want the viewers to email the governor. I want nice emails, friendly emails, but I want you to tell him, and whether you live in Maryland that you can't get wine, or whether you live out of Maryland, you can't order Maryland wine.
Are you trying to use the Vayner Nation for your own personal
No, I'm trying to sell wine for Wine Library. Well, I'm trying to sell wine for Maryland Wine.
You know, it's kind of busy downstairs. You want to put on a shirt and see what we can do down there?
I'd probably be more profitable than I'm doing right now. Anyway, You come to Maryland, you visit Bordeaux Wines, you visit Whitehall, you visit any of the fine Maryland wineries, all 10 or 12 of them. You can't order them. If you like them, you can't get them. You live in Utah, can't have them. And what's wrong with that is that Maryland's losing money on taxes, Maryland's losing money on tourism, and also if these wineries were to have larger purchases, larger buying power, guess what? Their wines are going to get better because we have some really talented people down there making wine that have worked at some of the finest wineries in California, France, and whatnot.
There's a huge concern around the country. We all know about the archaic laws back from Prohibition, and and there's a lot of issues at hand, and the politics of it are very scary.
I think the governor needs a visual illustration. Do you agree?
A visual?
Visual. Let me show you what I'm talking about, Governor. See, look, you want to come.
Oh, that's awesome.
You want to meet the Oak Monster in Maryland.
I'm a little scared of the Oak Monster.
I know.
Where's the Gary Vaynerchuk dodgeball t-shirt?
Hold on.
What the heck?
You want to meet the Oak Monster in Maryland, you really have to make a concerted effort to find him.
This guy came prepared.
This is a problem. You want to go to the auto body shop and have Peaches and find him in Maryland?
Oh my God, you have another one.
It's a problem. And let me go further.
This is awesome.
Deers with cherries, problem. Hard to find. Can't find them because of our archaic, absurd liquor laws. Let's be a leader. Let's show other states that it's BS. We can be pioneers and make change. It's all about the wine. It's all about family. It's all about good health and friends.
DK, you have absolutely...
I'm not done, Gary,
absolutely set the bar extremely high.
It's all about the wine library.
I'm very impressed. Clearly, this... Oh, question of the day. Go ahead.
Question. Here's a great question of the day.
Clearly, you've been thinking about it.
I have. I buy a lot of wine, but in my whole entire wine buying career, I've bought one case of wine. One case. What is a wine that you like so much you went out and actually bought an entire case of it?
That's an awesome question of the day. Guys, clearly, with this is unbelievable. Clearly, what we're doing is very obvious to me. When I say you with a little bit of me, it's clear that it's starting to happen.
Thunder follows lightning, baby.
I appreciate you did a great job. This is
my pleasure.
The bar has been set high. I think you've scared off a lot of Vaniacs from even attempting to be a
That's right. Your Cardinals aren't going to beat the Jets. It ain't going to happen.
They might, actually.
Patriots, no problem.
Patriots are going to blow us out. Anyway, you, with a little bit of me, and a lot of this guy, we are changing the wine world.